What role do research advocates play in the clinical trials process and trying to encourage more participation by patients to consider joining a trial?
I think it begins at the beginning, when we're there at the table, when a clinical trial is being designed, and we can say, you know what, that trial is going to be exceedingly difficult for patients to enroll in. Could we do something a little different? Do you really need a bone marrow biopsy every month? Well, no, not really. We really need 3. Then let's have 3. So to start there, but then we need to obviously take that research into the community. And I think one thing that's important is to give the message to patients that clinical trials can be an option. It's not that you're at the end of your treatment. It can be an option from day one. We've got some wonderful trials looking at symptoms, looking at return to work issues. I mean, there's lots of trials out there that people can participate in that actually will make them feel a lot better about their experience and supported through their experience. Because that is one thing they found. People get more coordinated care in clinical trials. It's done by a protocol. So everybody's being treated the same. So there's an adherence to that protocol that's a benefit to the patient.
I think as research advocates, we really have a huge responsibility, not only to have the foundational knowledge of the science, but to really help educate our patient constituencies about what it means to be in a clinical trial, what advantages and what disadvantages may be, but to kind of prepare them for those type of decisions that, even pre-diagnosis, you know, that is an option from day one, and to empower them to really ask the questions. You know, if your physician's not involved in clinical research, then find someone who can help you get into a trial if it's right for you, but it is an option.
What is the relationship and collaboration that exists between research advocates and the numerous advocacy organizations that are out there?
The very fact that I'm specific to inflammatory breast cancer, but you know, I'm very good friends with Mary Lou and Elda and appreciate their ability to cross the organ-specific groups. And I think there's such value in getting out of your organ-specific silo and realizing that in the end we are all working on very similar things and that we have so much more power together than we do when we stay in our little corners. Now and then I feel like I have to justify to my board that I do things that are much broader in the oncology community, but I tell them, you know, there's real value in that. During that time, I educate people about inflammatory breast cancer, which is important, but you know, the collaborations we make and the ways we find to work together are just so powerful, and I think can help speak to the broader oncology community of how important collaborations are. You know, I don't have all the answers or all the pieces, but sometimes we're able to bring together really creative groups, which we did recently with a think tank that Research Advocacy Network put together to look at tissue and the importance of banking tissue. And that was a really eclectic group of us, and asked to put our initials after our names aside so that we weren't there as the institution we represented or our medical background or whatever. And those kinds of things are so powerful.
With the numerous advocacy organizations that are out there, where not every organization maybe has a representative on the research advocate end, how do you all engage and help inspire and motivate all of these other organizations to get involved and to raise awareness to their constituency?
The Research Advocacy Network, when we formed the organization, we knew that our audience would be scientists and advocates. And so we didn't want to compete with our advocate organization colleagues. So we have no patient base, and we did it on purpose so that we would not be in competition with them. So what we try and do is we try and work with advocate organizations in joint projects. And so one of them was to do tissue awareness programs in the community. And we worked with the Gildas clubs and the wellness communities in 4 different cities. And can I tell the funny story? Or okay.
Please do. You do it better than I do.
Well, I don't know. We had this really super tutorial for advocates on genomics and cancer. It just very nice. In fact, some of our scientist friends use it for their fellows, which, you know, is nice. So we thought when we were doing these programs out in the community that we should have a leave behind, that the majority of folks that we got, you know, we would have like from 35 to 65. Well, it's going to take a long time before they educate the United States doing it 35 to 65 people at a time. So what we thought we could do is we could do a brochure that would be a leave behind. So then they would take that home and their family and friends would ask them and they would have good information to give them. So liking to repurpose things, we took the first chapter of our genomics and cancer tutorial and we made that into a brochure. Very nice, very nice. It only took us one more program before we realized that probably genomics and cancer didn't really play well to the public. So we changed the name to personalized medicine. We got a woman to look at it who makes it more patient-friendly. And so now we really do have a very nice leave behind.
And we took the DNA strand off the front and put a face on it. Amazing, you know? Made a difference.
And so thanks to all of you, and in particular to Ginny Mason, to Mary Lou Smith, and to Elda Railey for coming together and giving us this opportunity and including me as a research advocate.
Absolutely.